Okay, start on distance and mixture problems. We did problems 1, 2, and 5 in class, so we'll do 3, 4, 6, 7 right now and get these done. They're basically the same as what we did in class. We've been doing this for weeks now, so we're just going to follow the same things that we've been doing. So I'm assuming you've read number 3 or have this paper with you. So I'm not going to actually show you the problem. You're going to have to read this on your own, but I'll read it. A freight train traveling at 30 miles per hour leaves the station at 2 p.m. 15 minutes later, a passenger train leaves the same station on the same tracks, going the same direction, and we have to add in there at 45 miles per hour. So I will show you this one. We are going to change this. The passenger train is going 45 miles per hour. So we're going to take care of that. At what time does the passenger train catch the freight train? All right, here's the problem. I got a freight train. Actually, this is distance equals rate times time. How do I know that? Because they're talking about distance, rates, and time. This is how we showed it in class. We went over this a whole bunch today. Here's the freight train and passenger train. Those are the guys that are going. This is the rate times time equals d. Now I just fill in what I know. Rate of the first train is 30. That's from the problem. Rate of the passenger train is 45. We had to add that in the problem, but it should have been there. Time. Do I know how long time the freight train was going for? No. How come I don't know? Because it didn't tell me. It tells me he left at 2, but it doesn't tell me how long I drove for. Passenger train. Time. It says he leaves 15 minutes after the first one, so we'll take t minus 15. That's in minutes. We need to make sure we know that at the end so that our answers make sense. Distance then is 30t or 45t minus 15, and those are our two equations for distance. What did we say to do in class today? Then we said, okay, I'm going to take distance of the first one, set it equal to distance of the second one, because I want to know when do these two trains pass each other. 30t equals 45t plus, this is just distributing, 45 times 15 is 675. Subtract 45t from both sides. I get negative 15t equals, sorry, that's a minus, so this is a minus, equals negative 675. Divided by negative 15, divided by negative 15, t equals 45 minutes. Because our problem was in minutes, what do? I go back up there and make sure I'm going to answer the question. The question says, at what time does a passenger train catch the freight train? Well, it tells me that the time it took was 45 minutes. If we started at 2 o'clock, it took us 45 minutes, so what time did we catch up? 2:45. There it is, easy money. We'll go to skip to number 4. Number 4, you have this problem in front of you, so I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to go to it, but you can read it. A chemist has 40 milliliters of a solution that is 50% acid. How much water should he add to make a solution that is 10% acid? Okay, just like all these problems, concentration, amount, total. Got all 3 of those. What are the things I'm mixing? I'm going to mix 50% acid with water to make 10% acid. Alright, what is the concentration of 50% acid? This is one of those easy questions, it's 50%. What's concentration of water? How much acid is in water? It should be an easy question. Is there any acid in water? When you turn on the faucet at home, does acid come out? No, there's no acid in water. And how much acid is in 10% acid? 10%. How about the amount? How much do I have? Well, it tells me I have 40 milliliters of this, and that's the only one it gives me is that one. Okay. It says how much water should be added, so I'm looking for this one. But I know if I take 40, basically, if here's where I'm mixing this stuff, if here's my 40 milliliters of the 50% solution, 40 milliliters, and I add some X in there, now I have X milliliters in there, what is this line right here? What does that say? How much do I have? I have 40 plus X. What's the total? Multiply, like always, concentration times amount, 0 times X, 10 times 40 plus X. Let me set up the equation just like always. We're going to take this one plus this one equals this one. And I know this is going to look kind of dumb. I'm going to write it out anyways, and then I'll get rid of it. 0 times x because we know what that is. 10 times 40 plus x. So here's what we're going to do. 50 times 40 is 200. 0 times x is 0, so I'm not going to write that. Equals, distribute 400 plus 10x. That's from here. Now what we can do is subtract 400 from both sides. Negative 200 equals 10x divided by 10. divided by 10, and x equals negative 20. We got a that doesn't really make sense. I must have had a sign error somewhere. 10 times 40 plus x, that's 400, plus 10x, yeah, 50 times 40. Concentration was 50, amount was 40. 10%, 40 plus x. 10 times 40 plus x. 50 times 40, oh, that's my problem, is 2,000. That's where I went wrong. Let's redo this. 2,000 equals 400 plus 10x. So, excuse that last little bit. 2,000 equals 400 plus 10x. And see what I did? When I got a number that didn't make sense, it didn't make sense to have a negative answer. So I knew I'd done something wrong. So I'm going to go back and check. And I did, and I found my error. I just multiplied wrong. 2,000 minus 400 is 1,600 equals 10x. Divide by 10 now, divide by 10 now, x equals 160. And that does make sense. Water should be about 160. That makes sense. So we're okay with that. Did I answer the question? I guess make sure that how much water should be added. X stood for amount of water. We can see that. So yeah, I've answered the question, and that does make sense. So x is 160, and we're done. Okay, we're going to move down here to number 6. In number 6, it says a chemist mixes 12 liters of a solution that is 45% acid with 8 liters of a solution that is 70% acid. What is the percent acid of the mixture? So here's what we're doing. We're going to mix some things together. We're going to mix, well, finish the chart first. We can make the whole chart. Concentration, amount, total. What are we mixing? We're going to mix 45 with 70, and I want to get, basically I want to figure out what this is. I don't know this one in this problem. That's the thing I don't know. So that's weird and different, but we should be able to figure this out. What do we know? We know concentration of a 45 is a 45 and the concentration of a 70 is a 70. We also know that we have 12 liters of this and 8 liters of this. How many liters do I have total? 20 then. That's cool, I just add those up. Can I add the concentrations up? Only if, I could actually use a little bit of addition and division if I wanted to, if there was the same amount, but since there's different amounts, no, I can't. So this is actually what I'm looking for. I'm going to call that x. Find the totals, 45 times 12, 70 times 8, and 20x. How do I solve this? Write the equation. 45 times 12 plus 70 times 8 equals 20x. So we actually got to figure out what these numbers are. 70 times 8 is 560. 45 times 12 is 540. I can add those two together. I'm going to 1100 equals 20x. Divide by 20, divide by 20. And I'm going to get 55 equals x. So 55, does that make sense? Yes, it's in the middle of 45 and 70. So this question mark is a 55% acid solution. So we're okay with that. Last one. I'm going to look at number 7. A grocer mixes 5 pounds of egg noodles costing 80 cents per pound with 2 pounds of spinach noodles costing $1.50 per pound. What will be the cost per pound of the mixture? C, A, total. Just like always. That should be easy steps because we're going to go, in this case, cost, amount, total. I'm mixing some things together. I'm going to mix some noodles with some spinach noodles, egg noodles with spinach noodles, and I got a mix over here. I actually know how much this costs. The cost of this is 80 cents. This is 150. Mixture, I don't know, didn't tell me. You can read the problem, it doesn't tell you that. It does tell you the amount of these guys. I had 5 pounds of those. It tells you the amount of these guys. I had 2 pounds of these. How many pounds do I have altogether? 7 then. Multiply 80 times 5, 150 times 2, 7 times x. Write the equation. 80 times 5 plus 150 times 2 equals 7x. 80 times 5, 400 plus 300 equals 7x. Divide by 7, divide by 7. Oh, sorry. Not yet. Don't divide by 7 yet. 700, combine like terms over here, equals 7x. Divide by 7, divide by 7, x equals 100. What does that mean? Go back up here. What was x? X is the cost of the mixture. Cost of the mixture. We took out decimals because that was 80 cents. That was $1.50. So 100 really means $1. And our mixture costs $1. So per pound in the mixture, it costs $1.